The Business Authority, 1160 AM KVCE.
The information provided during this broadcast belongs to the show host and is for general informational purposes only. Nothing that is discussed or taken as legal advice for any individual case or situation. This information does not and is not intended to create an attorney-client relationship, nor does receipt of or listening to the information provided constitute an attorney-client relationship.
Welcome to the Believers in Business Hour on KVCE AM 1160. It's time for Bar Talk with local trial lawyer Brad Parker, the attorney you want but hope you never need. Stay tuned, get informed, and get educated about your legal rights when you or a loved one have been seriously injured or harmed by the conduct of someone else or at the hands of an insurance company. Brad Parker has focused his law practice exclusively on trial work since becoming licensed in 1985 and is board certified in personal injury trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. And now, here's Bar Talk with Brad Parker, the attorney you want but hope you never need.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's good to be here. I appreciate you listening in this afternoon to Bar Talk. As I said, I'm Brad Parker, the attorney you want but hope you never need. Give us a call. If you got a question, you got a legal issue pending or something's going on that you need a question about. You know, so many times you have an issue that comes up that's a legal issue, and all you need is just a question answered. You really don't need to hire a lawyer. You just need to know which way to go. And if you got that kind of question, or maybe you got something more substantial that you want to talk about, call in. The number here is 214-787-1160. That's 214-787-1160, just like your AM dial that you're listening in on, AM 1160. And if you can't call in for whatever reason, you don't want to air it over the air, so to speak, feel free to call me at my office. That number there is 817-503-9200. Or you can always email me, Brad at, this is going to be hard to remember, Parker Law Firm. That's it, parkerlawfirm.com. Brad at parkerlawfirm.com.
Say what?
And I'll be happy to, that's parkerlawfirm.com. I'll be happy to answer any question. If we need to get you in the office, we'll be happy to do that. I'll consult with you for free. Initial consultation's free. And like I say, so many times I've been able to help people or put them on the right path or get them to the right lawyer. You know, it could be something that I just don't do. And, I specialize and I'm board certified in personal injury trial law. I represent people who have been hurt or injured as a result of the negligence or stupidity of other people. And but if you have a criminal matter, I can certainly put you in touch with a good criminal lawyer. Of course, if it's a family matter, you can call in tomorrow night during Frank and Donna's show or give them a call, or I can get you a family lawyer. It's probate. You know, one of my best friends has a probate matter going on, and we went to the hockey game last night, and he was just pumping me full of questions. I said, man, I got to get you in touch with a probate lawyer. So, if you got some questions, any kind of legal question, feel free to call in during the upcoming hour at 214-787-1160, or, as I said, call me at my office or drop me an email, Brad at parkerlawfirm.com. Well, speaking of hockey, I'm a rabid Dallas Stars fan, and I'm really looking forward to the game Friday night. You always have a good crowd turnout on a Halloween night in Dallas at a Stars game, and if you've never done that before, you ought to give it a try. It's a lot of fun. And now that my kids are grown, I can get out to it a little bit more often. But we're playing the Anaheim Ducks. They used to be called the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, and now they changed their name to the Anaheim Ducks. It'll be a great, great game. I hope that if you get a chance, you'll go out there. Well, I told you last time, I'm not obsessed, but the Rick Perry stuff is just so much fun to watch. I mean, gosh, that guy is just hysterical. I can't believe he's been governor for as long as he has. But, we were just talking before the program, is he going to run for president or is he not? But I guarantee you the comedians are certainly wanting him to, the late night show hosts are certainly wanting him to run because he's just fodder. I mean, he is just absolute fodder. But, one of the things that he's got going on from a legal standpoint, and it's rather an interesting procedural, if you're a legal nerd like me, to watch, is the status of his criminal indictment.
Ay, caramba!
Yeah, caramba, right. And he's, as I mentioned, he was supposed to appear in Austin on Friday, Halloween, for the hearing concerning whether or not the special prosecutor, Michael McCrum, was properly sworn in, and they wanted all the grand jury testimony. The judge had ordered that Rick Perry's got to be present for that, and that hearing has now been moved to, I believe it is November the 6th, so golly, I'm not going to be able to talk about it next week. We're going to have to wait until after that. But interestingly, that's, there's no rhyme or reason to it other than it's just pure coincidence. 2 days after the election, so it'll be kind of interesting. We'll have a whole new slate of statewide political offices being filled. And if you haven't voted, I hope you get out and vote. I mean, it is so important to do. I saw some statistics, and if we have time today, I'm going to talk about them a little bit, but it is amazing how we are regarded as one of the, if it is the democracy, the place to be. People die, people do whatever they can to get to this country because of the freedom, the democracy, the governmental system that we have, and the ability to vote. People actually die and have given their lives to have the right to vote. And it's just kind of disgusting to me that we don't have more people voting. I saw a statistic that we have less than 49% of the registered voters actually vote. That is disgusting. And Texas leads the country. Yeah, we always hear how we lead the country in the number of registered voters that don't vote. So Texas can be real proud of themselves for not getting out to vote. And I took my daughter down the other day to make sure she votes. I am riding my other daughter's rear end to make sure she gets out and votes. I've always taken my kids to the polls with me. I want them to understand what a privilege it is to be able to vote and the importance of voting. And so I don't care who you vote for, but get out and vote. Let your voice be heard. But if you do go vote, and when you go vote, I shouldn't say but when you go vote, please know who you are voting for. I mean, we can disagree on all kinds of politics, but you need to know who's the man or the woman that you're voting for. Are you voting for them just because they're a Republican or Democrat, or do you really know a little bit about them? And, we could go on and on and on about that, but one of the guys that is running for the Attorney General, the top lawyer for the state of Texas, the man who will replace Greg Abbott as the top lawyer for the state of Texas, as a Republican, Ken Paxton is running. And, just from a legal standpoint, caught my attention about this, is that Mr. Paxton is probably, the rumor on the street is that he's probably going to be indicted for some felony counts as soon as this election is over. So how ironic is it that we are fixing to, more likely than not, elect a man who is fixing to be indicted for his criminal conduct that he has admitted to. He's admitted to it. Ken Paxton is a lawyer, and he has apparently he was hired to prepare a postnuptial agreement. That postnuptial agreement is an agreement between a man and a woman who are getting divorced, who have been married, but are drafting an agreement on how the assets would be divided if they get divorced. Call Frank and Donna. They can tell you a lot more about that. But he prepared it, and he encouraged the woman to invest much for mutual funds and investments into a fund with a broker. What he didn't declare to him is that he was getting a 30% kickback from this broker, which is a big no-no. He not only got the apparently 30% advisor fees, but he also concealed that relationship and the fee from his client. And as a lawyer, that is an absolute no-no. As a brokerage guru, that is an absolutely no-no. You must disclose that kind of relationship. You must disclose the fact that you're getting the fee. And as it turns out, the couple lost over about $150,000 or more due to these fees and different things that they did not disclose. Mr. Paxton's admitted that he failed to register with the securities broker, and that he failed to make the public disclosure as an investment advisor. And basically, his admissions constitute a third-degree felony. So the question is really going to become whether or not he's going to get indicted. The Public Integrity Unit has started an investigation of him. However, they have postponed that investigation until after the election. They do not want their investigation to sway the public one way or the other concerning how to vote. The state bar has dismissed a grievance that was filed against him. However, that's being appealed. And, you know, I worked as on the grievance committee for the state bar for about 4 years. In fact, I was chair of one of the committees. And many times those complaints are dismissed because they are phrased as inquiries rather than complaints. And that's what happened here. I suspect we'll see that get refiled. The whole point of everything is that we've got some legal issues that are going on with Mr. Paxton, and we may have to have another attorney general. It'd be crazy if Texas has an indicted top lawyer, huh? Well, anyway, I've got lots more legal news coming up around the corner. Come back after the break. You're listening to Bar Talk, and I'm Brad Parker, the attorney you want, but hope you never need.
From Wall Street to the Metroplex, this is 1160 AM KVCE.
Ow! Stupid bugs!
If pests are pestering you, give Alley Cat Pest Control a call. A top performer in the pest control industry for over 25 years, offering the most comprehensive pest control services to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and surrounding counties. Alley Cat Pest Control is dedicated to providing a wide array of quality eradication services to apartment complexes, manufacturing facilities, food industry facilities, churches, and residential properties. Our technicians are trained specialists providing our clients with timely, effective pest control services, from termite and bug detection and eradication, including removal of spiders, wasps, bees, ants, roaches, and even vermin. There's no pest too big or too small for Alley Cat Pest Control. Protect your investment and don't let termites destroy your home. Don't let bed bugs ruin a good night's sleep. Give us a call today, 817-469-4849. That's 817-469-4849. Or visit alleycatpestandtermite.com.
Now is the time to go to your Kubota dealer and get a brand new Kubota M-Series tractor during Kubota's Gear Up and Go sales event. If you're thinking about a rugged utility tractor and the year-round comfort of a Grand X-Cab, then a new Kubota has your name on it. With a smooth-running diesel engine and IntelliShift transmission, your Kubota dealer is the place to start. Right now, get your own Kubota M-Series tractor for 0 down and 0% financing for up to 60 months. So for a great deal, think orange at the Kubota Gear Up and Go sales event. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to TexasKubotaDealers.com.
0 down, 0% APR financing for terms up to 60 months on selected equipment now through December 31st, 2014. Not available for rental national accounts or government customers. 0% APR low rate financing not available with instant rebate offers. Financing available through Kubota Credit Corporation USA subject to credit approval. Other exceptions may apply. For more information, call toll-free 1-888-465-8268.
Cartel violence, attacks on Border Patrol agents, drug runners. They threaten our way of life and terrorize law-abiding Texans. Barack Obama won't secure the border, but Greg Abbott will. As governor, Greg Abbott's mission is to keep Texans safe. His plan will double the funds for the Texas Department of Public Safety for border security. Abbott will secure the border by hiring 500 more state troopers with added surveillance in the air and on water. And Greg Abbott's plan will increase funds for the Border Prosecution Unit.
Please welcome the man I am proud to call my dad, Attorney General Greg Abbott.
Together we can secure our border, keeping Texans safe from drug cartels and gangs that are importing crime to our state. I will never stop fighting, and that's why I'm asking you to elect me as your next governor.
Political ad paid for by Texans for Greg Abbott.
At Parker Law Firm, people matter. We have an unwavering commitment to people who have been seriously harmed by the negligence or wrongdoing of others. Our practice focuses on those who have been killed or seriously injured in major trucking or car accidents, or whose lives have been seriously disrupted by the bad faith conduct of an insurance company.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker, principal partner at Parker Law Firm. I'm board certified in personal injury trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. I'm also the immediate past president of the Texas Trial Lawyers Association. When you or a loved one has been seriously injured in an accident caused by another person's negligence, you may not know where to go or who to trust. Our firm is built on years of trial experience, a tradition of personal service, and a reputation for zealous representation of our clients. We're dedicated to providing experienced and comprehensive legal assistance to individuals and their families during their times of need.
Let the attorneys from Parker Law Firm help you. Get a free consultation. Call 817-503-9200. ParkerLawFirm.com. Principal Office, Bedford, Texas.
1160 AM, KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's Business Authority.
Welcome back to Believers in Business Bar Talk with Texas Board Certified Personal Injury Trial Lawyer Brad Parker, right here on AM 1160 KVCE. Have questions? Get answers. Call in at 214-787-1160. That's 214-787-1160. You can check it out online at kvceradio.com. Brought to you by the Parker Law Firm.
Thanks for hanging in with me. This is Brad Parker, and you're listening to Bar Talk. Before we left, before the commercials, so we were talking about the importance of voting and getting out there to vote. The last day for early voting will be Friday, this coming Friday, October 31st. And then, of course, the polls, general election will be on Tuesday, November the 4th. So be sure and vote. Make your voice heard. There's going to be some close races. So much of this state is already predetermined. If you're an R or a D, you're pretty much a given. However, we do see some pretty close races in a few around the Metroplex, most notably the Libby Willis and Connie Burton race over in Fort Worth for Senate District 10. That's the district that Wendy Davis is giving up so that she could run for governor. So if you live in that district, it's going to come down to every vote. So you want to be sure and get out and vote in that. If you got a legal question, call in 214-787-1160. I'll be happy to try to answer any question that you might have, or at least get you on down the road to the person you need to talk to or the course you need to be taking. And of course, as you heard on the little intro there a minute ago, if you just have a question, you want a free consultation, feel free to call me at my office, 817-503-9200, or you can always just drop me an email, brad@parkerlawfirm.com. That's brad@parkerlawfirm.com. I'll try to answer your question. If we need to get you in for a free consultation and sit down across the table from one another, I'll certainly do that, or at least try to get you to the right person. One of the things I love doing is just kind of following a little legal news and see what's going on across the state and across the country from a legal standpoint. There's so much happening. The three branches of government and the civil justice system keeps the other two in line, keeps them in check, and that can be seen all the time. There's a story out of Corpus Christi. There's a court of appeals down there. They're the 13th Court of Appeals. The Chief Justice down there, Chief Justice Roy Valdez, has been sued. He's been sued by a former staff attorney. A staff attorney for the Court of Appeals is someone who's hired by the court to help them write opinions, do research, those kinds of things. This particular staff attorney had worked at the court since about I think Bruce Anderson is his name. He had worked from 1996 until 2002. Then he got an additional job with a different justice from 2007 to 2012. And then when that justice retired, she approached him and told him that she was concerned about some of Chief Justice Valdez' financial accounting and records, and that it appeared to her that he'd been getting some double reimbursements for the court from the court's filing fee fund and from his campaign finance budget. In other words, he was double dipping to get reimbursed, which, as you might imagine, is a big no-no. And so Mr. Anderson apparently filed a complaint with the Judicial Committee that oversees ethics for the judges in this state. And in the meantime, though, had been offered another job with another justice on the 13th Court of Appeals. And that was with Justice Gregory T. Perkes. I think it's Perkes, P-E-R-K-E-S. In any event, about 6 days after he got that job with Justice Perkes. Now, keep in mind, Mr. Anderson has been on the court, working on the court since 1996 for, what is that now? Almost 20 years. And Perkes had hired him, but 6 days after he was hired and after this complaint with the Judicial Commission had been filed, he was told that he couldn't come back. Oh, coincidence? I doubt it. But in any event, he has now sued the Chief Justice, Roy Valdez, claiming that he has violated his civil rights. And we'll have to see where that goes and how that ultimately turns out. You know, the interesting aspect of that is that judges are immune from most things that they do. If they are acting in a judicial function or judicial capacity, they're pretty much immune from anything. Because if you think about it, you don't like the decision the judge made, sue him. If you don't like the decision that he's come down with, or how he's acting or conducting himself on the bench, sue him. Well, of course, that can't happen. They've got to act fairly and impartially, and they can't be judged through litigation. They can be judged through the Judicial Commission or Commission on Judicial Conduct for their behavior if it's unethical, but you need these men and women to be able to operate without the fear of being sued as long as they're acting in their judicial capacity. And I guess one of the issues or one of the questions in this lawsuit will be whether or not Justice Valdez was acting in a judicial capacity or not. I suspect that the answer to that question is no. He was not. It's more of an administrative function. Just because you're a judge doesn't mean that you can retaliate against your employees or those kinds of things. There was a federal judge out of Galveston, I just went blank on his name, who's actually serving time in prison because he sexually harassed and really sexually assaulted some of his office staff. And of course, you're not immune from that, Judge. And so he obviously had to pay the price for that and spending some time in a federal facility. Another interesting thing is, it always never surprises me, never ceases to amaze me of the audacity and stupidity of some people. There was a article in a newspaper here that I saw the other day about a guy who threatened a federal court judge. Now, that's not a real smart thing to do, to threaten anybody, much less. You can't
fix stupid.
Yeah, you sure can't. But you really shouldn't be threatening a federal court judge. And I guess you really shouldn't be doing it in writing. In other words, this guy sent a letter to the judge threatening to injure, namely to kill Judge Hittner out of the Houston, Southern District of Houston federal courts down there. But what makes it even more ridiculous or idiotic on the part of this gentleman is that his place of abode, where he's living, was well known. to Judge Hittner and those around him. He's an inmate in the Texas Department of Corrections, so he's not going to be too hard to find. I guess maybe his thought is, what are you going to do to me? Throw me in jail? Well, yeah, that's what exactly they're going to do. They'll add some time to it. But apparently he had filed some appeals with Judge Hittner over the years. One in 2005, he filed a civil rights complaint against a Texas corrections officer, and Judge Hittner dismissed that. And then in 2007, Judge Hittner dismissed another case that he had. So I guess he just got mad at Judge Hittner and decided he was going to send him a threatening letter. Well, good luck there, buddy. The other big piece of news that came out, there's so much, but was the hip trial that has been going on in Dallas over the last, I guess it's been 8 weeks. That thing's been going on for 8 weeks. It was concerning the DePuy hip implant, the product called Pinnacle hip implant, metal on metal. A great trial team on both sides knocked it out for 8 weeks. And the jury recently came back after having heard all the evidence and testimony, and they found on behalf of the hip manufacturer, DePuy and Johnson & Johnson. And when we come back to the program here in a little bit, I want to tell you a little bit about the trial. It's kind of interesting. And for those of you who have ever had a hip implant, or maybe you're a part of this litigation, it's not a class action. It's what we call a MDL, or multi-district litigation. I'll tell you a little bit about it and some of the facts of the case. There's another case coming up very, very soon. But we'll get into that a little bit more when we come back around from the commercial break. You've been listening to Bar Talk. I'm Brad Parker, the lawyer you want but hope you never need. Come back and join us after the break.
UFW's Business Authority, 1160 AM, KVCE.
Hello, everybody, from Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend, Indiana. It's Notre Dame football. Today, the #1 game in the nation.
Notre Dame football is back.
Sacked by a great Notre Dame defense. Intercepted again. Finding a way. Breaks into open field.
35 to 30.
Inside the 10. He's heading to the goal line.
For a touchdown,
Notre Dame.
The Irish return to reclaim college football's crown. Listen all season long on your home for Notre Dame football.
Right here on AM 1160. See a full season schedule at kvceradio.com/sports.
Tune in weekday mornings at 9 for the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Join us each weekday when we discuss the principles and practices of the successful real estate investor. We bring you experts to answer your questions on how to use real estate to build wealth and passive realized monthly income, and teach you the ins and outs of investing in real estate. So tune in weekday mornings at 9, right here for the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
I got a question for you. You just bought American Muscle Car, or the car of your dreams, and you want top performance. And with that, less wear and tear in the motor, and a company that really stands behind their product. I got 2 letters for you, K&N. Since 1969, K&N Engineering has been making the world's best air filters and performance parts with the best warranty in the business. 1 million miles warranty on all K&N air filters. With K&N, we're not just talking cars and trucks either. They have filters for SUVs, ATVs, motorcycles, and watercraft. Just log on to knfilters.com. That's knfilters.com. After 25 years in the auto industry, you really need to know all about a company and their product before you can say and agree with them. K&N Filters is the world's best air filter and the only choice of the Automotive Edge radio show, heard here every Saturday morning. Go to knfilters.com. That's knfilters.com. knfilters.com.
Every 67 seconds, someone in the United States develops Alzheimer's. And today, more than 5 million Americans are living with the disease. Have you thought about who would provide that care for you or a family member, and how to pay for it? The cost can run $80,000 to $90,000, $100,000 annually or more. But there's an even greater expense. In 2013, 15.5 million family and friends provided 17.5 billion hours of unpaid care to those with Alzheimer's and other dementias. Due to the physical and emotional burden, caregivers had $9.3 billion in additional health care costs of their own. All told, 60 to 70% of us will need some form of long-term care, and Medicare likely won't pay. Contact my good friend Lynn Rowe, CFP, today and receive her free booklet and information on long-term health care. Call 877-270-3127. That's 877-270-3127, or go online at iwantmyltc.net, iwantmyltc.net.
At Parker Law Firm, people matter.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker. When I first got out of law school, I went to work for a big downtown Fort Worth law firm. It was a prestigious job, but I never felt fulfilled professionally helping banks and companies. I didn't have that fulfillment that kind of drove me to be a lawyer to begin with. And the more I saw and learned, the more I realized that maybe being in the big firm wasn't the right thing for me. I went out on my own to start doing some personal injury work and what we call insurance bad faith, because you get the opportunity to help real people. Your efforts and your success makes a difference in their lives. And that is very satisfying and very rewarding to me. And it drives me every morning when I wake up to be able to help people. The rewarding times after a case is settled, the cards I get from clients, just to say, thank you, you made a difference in my life. I never really got that from the CEOs of the banks that I represented. It is truly rewarding to know that you've made a difference in someone's life and you've really helped them out.
Principal Office, Bedford, Texas.
This is 1160 AM KVCE. KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's Business Authority.
Welcome back to Bar Talk with Brad Parker. You can check it out online at kvceradio.com. Brought to you by the Parker Law Firm. Have questions? Get answers. Call in at 214-787-1160. That's 214-787-1160.
What you say? I won't pay. Rather play.
Welcome back. You're listening to Bar Talk. I'm Brad Parker, the attorney you want but hope you never need. Call in if you got any questions or you want to join in on the conversation or have a thought or opinion that you'd like to share. Call in. I'd love to hear from you. It's 214-787-1160. And, of course, if you're driving and don't have the chance to call right now, feel free to call with any questions, or if I can help you in any way, at my office, 817-503-9200. That's 817-503-9200. And, of course, you can always get me by email, brad@parkerlawfirm.com. That's brad@parkerlawfirm.com. Well, before we move on to talk about the HIP trial, I got a text message from somebody, or email a minute ago, I should say, from somebody asking that they have a lawyer who's representing them in a case, and they want to fire that lawyer, and they don't think the lawyer is responding well enough or moving fast enough or whatever. And I have people call me with that question and inquiry often. I think as any practicing attorney has probably gotten that question more than once over their career. And it's a real issue. When you sign a contract with an attorney, it is a contract that both of you have agreed to, and there are ramifications if you do not fulfill the terms of that contract. And if you fire your attorney with no reason or without good cause, it could add some very significant issues to you as the client later on down the road. Whenever you are represented by an attorney, other attorneys are ethically prohibited from discussing the case with you or giving you opinions about the case. That's just the way it should be, quite frankly. I wouldn't want another attorney talking to my client and giving them their opinions about the law or what's going on, because they don't know all the issues, and they don't know what I'm doing and the reason why I may be going the way, and it could have inconsistent opinions that may be totally diametrically opposed, but wrong. The other attorney could have a wrong opinion because he doesn't know everything that's going on. But back to what can you do if your attorney's not responding, doesn't return your calls, or is just not doing what you think you've asked him to do, or how you want to do it. The law in this area is pretty severe because when an attorney works on a contingency fee, they don't get paid. It's unlike where you're working with a family law lawyer or a probate lawyer or a corporate lawyer. You're paying them as you go. And if you decide you want to fire them, then you just fire them. You owe them the money you owe them, and you're on your way. On a contingency fee contract, though, if you were to fire your attorney, your attorney's not getting paid. He or she will not get paid until the resolution of the case. And as such, they may have a considerable amount of time and expense in the file, and you turn around and just terminate their services. How are they going to get reimbursed? How are they going to get paid? And if you've entered into a contingency fee contract with that attorney, what you have done is to agree to pay her or him a percentage of any recovery that's ultimately obtained. And Texas law over the years has devised a system that basically says that if you fire your attorney for no reason, just because you wanted to, or for lack of cause is the kind of the key word that's used. You fire them and you don't have cause to fire them, then you still owe the full contingency fee regardless. So what that means is if you've entered into a contract for 33 1/3% and you fire that attorney and go hire another attorney and they'll take it on a 33 1/3% contract as well, then at the end of the case, rather than you, the client, getting 66 2/3% of the recovery, you only get a third because you've got attorney number one you still got to pay 1/3 to, and you've got attorney number two you've got to pay 1/3. So, the decision to fire an attorney is a very serious one. If you fire them for cause, and if there's cause to fire them, then you owe the attorney what we call quantum meruit. And what we mean by that is you owe them the amount of money that would reasonably compensate them for their services under the circumstances. And that's a real subjective number. Who knows what that is? But if you do fire them for cause, then you can at least minimize the amount that they will ultimately recover. Many times, if that happens, the attorney that you hire in replacement of the first attorney, they can work out a deal between themselves of how that will get reimbursed. And that's typically how it works out. But that's why it's so just doggone so important that you not hire the first attorney you come across if you've got a serious personal injury matter. You need to be sure and check their credentials. I ask my clients to please check my credentials. Compare me with whoever you want. I'll stand up against anybody. My track record, my credentials, my training, my education. I'll hang with anybody. I'll let you compare my credentials with anybody. But you need to be careful about who you hire because there are great attorneys out there and there's some not so great attorneys out there. And if you sign up with one that's not so great, you could be in for a world of hurt if and when you decide that you can't work with them anymore. So it's very, very important that you take the time to visit with different attorneys. Make sure you have a good fit, a good feel. Make sure they're board certified. I've talked about that a whole lot. Make sure they're board certified in personal injury trial law. I've got one right now where the people want to fire the attorney because they didn't realize he really doesn't try lawsuits. He just settles lawsuits. Well, lawyers that just settle lawsuits, they don't get very good settlements. It's the lawyers that are actually willing to go out there and try those lawsuits that get the good settlements because the other side knows you will go to bat. And when they asked him, does he try the lawsuit? He says, oh, no. If I have to try one, I just give it away to somebody else. Well, those people are going, what do you mean you give it away to someone else? Don't I get a say in it? And, under the terms of the contract that they entered into, not necessarily. So you need to be very, very careful. That's all I'll say on that. Well, as I alluded to before we slipped away for the last break, and I'm running out of time, but I do want to talk about it, is the Pinnacle trial that was tried for 8 weeks over in Judge Kincaid's Federal District Court here in Northern District of Texas by several great attorneys, including Mark Lanier, who is just a premier attorney out of Houston. The Pinnacle case it's a hip replacement. It is a metal-on-metal hip replacement that has been used. It's manufactured by a company named DePuy that was subsequently bought by Johnson & Johnson. And this hip is metal-on-metal, and the problem with it is that it rubs and causes ion shavings, metal shavings, that increase cobalt and chromium metal flakes in your body, which can cause tissue damage. There's some concerns that it may lead to cancer. It's not a good thing. Many of these hips get reopened on revision surgery, and you just see dead tissue all around the hip itself. And many of them have to be replaced within 5 years. In fact, from our inventory of cases that we have, we are seeing about a 50% fail rate within the first 5 years, which is astronomical, just astronomical. But one of the things that also is problematic with these hips is that they are a little bit of a less of a cup. They're not a full half circle like many of them. The reason was it gives you more flexibility, and they were really designed for younger people so that they could have more active lifestyles. And it's been a colossal failure. The first trial for the Pinnacle was held in Dallas, and it resulted in a defense verdict. From talking to some of the insiders on this, it's my understanding that the jury was pretty swayed by the doctor who came in and testified that it's all his fault, that he misplaced the implant, causing it to fail. But what I also understand is that the doctor didn't appreciate the fact that short of having laser-guided surgery, you cannot get these things in right. They are designed in a way that it's almost virtually impossible to seat them and place them in just the right way to allow for the proper utilization of the hip. That's the problem with it. It's defective from that regard. So anyway, the jury nonetheless came back. The doctor fell on his sword. The jury came back and rendered a verdict for DePuy. There's going to be a lot more of these trials. There's about 4,000 or 5,000 cases nationwide filed, and so there's going to be a whole bunch more of these. And in fact, there was one scheduled to begin again on Monday, November the 3rd. So we'll just have to see. As I've talked, a lot of these will get tried before there'll ever be a mass settlement on it. But anyway, come back after the break. I'll talk to you a little bit more about a Texas Tribune article that has just come out that I think needs your attention. I'm Brad Parker, and you're listening to Bar Talk, AM 1160 KVCE.
From Wall Street to the Metroplex, this is 1160 AM KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's business authority.
Flu, pneumonia, whooping cough, hepatitis A, shingles, meningitis, tetanus. That's a scary list. But did you know immunizations can protect you from every one? You didn't? Well, we do. Rite Aid pharmacists are certified to immunize against the most common preventable diseases. Find out what immunizations you need with the free immunization evaluation at Rite Aid today. With us, it's personal. Availability and age restrictions apply in some states. See pharmacist for details.
Look, kid, when guys like us walk into a facility in the morning, we can smell a problem. No one needs to hand us a work order. We already know it. Today, for instance, we need a new gearbox, 6 globe valves, and a dozen ballasts. And when I smell a problem, Grainger smells that I smell a problem. They help me keep this place up and running. Now that's the kind of smell I like. The sweet smell of success. Get it? Got it? Good. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dude, do you hear that? What is that? That doesn't sound good.
Oh man, this isn't good at all.
Hold on.
Let me see what this does. Hey, is it better?
Nope. I'm pretty sure this is the opposite of better. Dude, man, what are we gonna do? This is awful.
Looks like you need the help of American Leak Detection.
American Leak Detection.
Oh, man, it's Will Nell with American Leak Detection.
Save us!
No worries, guys. American Leak Detection has been around for more than 25 years detecting and repairing hidden leaks in your home. Plus, we do all this without cutting huge holes in your wall.
Thanks, American Leak Detection.
American Leak Detection.
Leak detection without destruction.
Just go to alddfw.com next time to get a hold of us. It's much easier.
American Leak Detection.
At Parker Law Firm, people matter. We have an unwavering commitment to people who have been seriously harmed by the negligence or wrongdoing of others. Our practice focuses on those who have been killed or seriously injured in major trucking or car accidents, or whose lives have been seriously disrupted by the bad faith conduct of an insurance company.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker, principal partner at Parker Law Firm. I'm board certified in personal injury trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. I'm also the immediate past president of the Texas Trial Lawyers Association. When you or a loved one has been seriously injured in an accident caused by another person's negligence, you may not know where to go or who to trust. Our firm is built on years of trial experience, a tradition of personal service, and a reputation for zealous representation of our clients. We're dedicated to providing experienced and comprehensive legal assistance to individuals and their families during their times of need.
Let the attorneys from Parker Law Firm help you. Get a free consultation. Call 817-503-9200. ParkerLawFirm.com. Principal Office, Bedford, Texas.
Mr. Ray Huffines. 90 years ago, when my grandfather started Huffines, he had one simple business principle, and that is to treat customers the way they want to be treated. Today, this principle is still the foundation for everything we do at Huffines. Texas Values is something we take very seriously at Huffines. For 90 years, Huffines has proudly served North Texas with Texas Values, and we look forward to doing so for many more.
And now come celebrate 90 years of Texas Values while saving big during Truck Month at both locations of Huffines Chevrolet in Plano and Louisville. Plus, get the lowest financing and highest cash rebates available on a sensational selection of new Chevy cars, trucks, SUVs, and crossovers when you find new roads to Ray Huffines Chevrolet at Coit Road and Plano Parkway in Plano, and Huffines Chevrolet on I-35 in Louisville. Or click it and pick it at Huffines.net.
This is 1160 AM, KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's Business Authority.
Welcome back to Believers in Business Bar Talk with Texas Board Certified Personal Injury Trial Lawyer Brad Parker, right here on AM 1160 KVCE. Have questions? Get answers. Call in at 214-787-1160. That's 214-787-1160. You can check it out online at kvceradio.com. Brought to you by the Parker Law Firm.
Welcome back. You're listening to Bar Talk, and I'm Brad Parker. You know, if you got a question or you want to join in the conversation, as you heard there a minute ago, call in. The number here is 214-787-1160. And, of course, you can always get me at my office, 503, that's 817 first, area code 817-503-9200. Or feel free to email me at brad@parkerlawfirm.com. That's brad@parkerlawfirm.com. You got a legal issue that's giving you some trouble, let me try to help you. Free consultation, not going to charge you just to talk to you. See if we can get you on down the street. If you need more significant legal help, I'll certainly try to get that for you as well. And if I can't help you, I'm going to get you to somebody that can. I don't know how many of you have ever heard of the Texas Tribune. I hope everybody has. I don't wake up in the morning without going and looking at the Texas Tribune News. They are a fantastic online news agency that has, rather than sending out newspapers and producing newspapers, they're totally online. And they primarily cover politics, Texas state politics. They cover some legal issues that involve politics, but they cover the things that are important to this state. And as we've seen dwindling numbers of political correspondents out of the Dallas Morning News, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, the San Antonio, the Houston papers, few of those papers have any correspondents that are actually in Austin. For the most part, they piggyback off everybody. And the Texas Tribune has more political correspondents located in Austin than all the statewide newspapers put together. So they are really on top of it. But the reason I mention all of this is that they have recently just put out a 15-part series on the what they call the shale life. That's SHALE life. It talks about it's really kind of a story of the Texas energy boom. And it talks about all aspects of the Texas energy boom. You know, it is unbelievable if you live in these areas, what's going on. It's not just here in Texas. The story features Texas, but it's across the country too. I mean, you've got a huge energy boom going on in Pennsylvania, North Dakota. Some of the starting wages for an oil field worker are around $80,000. Truck drivers are making great money. There's a shortage of it. The story really focuses on the faces that are involved. You know, we often hear about the fracking issues and the big company issues, but you never see really the faces behind, the men and women who work or who are affected by this industry, both good and bad. I haven't had a chance to read the article yet, or just kind of cruise through it, but it has some different things. I encourage you to go on there. They did one about a crop duster how his business has changed because he's got to keep eye out for the oil wells and the towers during construction, not to mention all the people on many of these areas. You know, we've got the Eagle Ford Shale area, which is down in South Texas, the Barnett Shale area, which of course is up here in North Texas area, and then of course the Permian Basin area, which is in the Odessa, Midland, West Texas area. So you've got three very, very hot markets they're affected by the new drilling activity, both in oil and in gas. One of the articles deals with life in a man camp, how there's not enough housing, and these camps are just being built to help house the men who work on these facilities and their families that live there, and the way of life in these camps, the struggles that people have. It talks about the environment, some of the negative effects on the environment, both proven and suspected. It talks about the drain on our infrastructure, both from the standpoint of ER responders, emergency crew responders, firefighters, policemen, ambulance, the hospitals, because you've got communities now that are being inundated by men and women coming to work in that industry. You also talk about the other effect: grocery stores, restaurants, gas stations, oil change stations. Everything has been affected by the influx of the workers and the traffic and the money that's involved. There's talks about the corrections crunch. There's a lack of correctional officers because many of them are leaving correctional institutions to go work for the oil and gas industry. Fascinating article. I commend it to you. But what I wanted to bring out was that one of the things they talk about is something that I've talked about a lot, and that is the increase in truck fatalities. The commercial truck traffic in this state has exploded over the last 4 or 5 years. As I have said on numerous occasions, just between 2009 and 2013, there has been an increase of 50% in the fatal truck accidents in this state, and that's just overall. If you go to the shale areas, the Permian Basin area, the Eagle Ford Shale area in South Texas, or up here in North Texas, the numbers get really crunched and even more dramatic. Accidents involving commercial vehicles in the Eagle Ford Shale increased by 105% from 2009 to 2013. Fatal accidents involving commercial vehicles increased by 247%. In the Permian Basin, that number went up by 244% from 2009 to 2000. That's people being killed by commercial vehicles rose 244% in the Permian Basin area, 247% in the Eagle Ford Shale. You know, I can talk about this on and on and on, but I'll let you read the article. But I guess my point is The most dangerous thing you're going to do today or tomorrow is more likely than not be behind the wheel. And if you live in an area that has a lot of these trucks running around, you're even at a heightened risk of having severe injury or death occur due to a wreck. So be very, very careful out there. Keep your eyes open. And if you do happen to have the unfortunate circumstance, find a good board-certified lawyer to help you or your loved ones who may suffer from a wreck. Well, Matt's telling me I'm out of time. Matt, I appreciate you keeping me on time today. We'll be back next week, 5 to 6 on Wednesday afternoons with Bar Talk. Tomorrow, you can listen to Frank and Donna. They do the Family Law Hour. They can answer all of your family law questions. And, of course, coming up next is the Bloomberg News Hour. I hope you'll stick around and listen to that. Until next time, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call at 817-503-9200 or email me at brad@parkerlawfirm.com. Look forward to visiting with you next week on Bar Talk. I'm Brad Parker, the attorney you want, but hope you never need.
For Bar Talk with local trial lawyer Brad Parker, the attorney you want, but hope you never need. Join us again next week when you, the listener, can become more educated about your legal rights and your Seventh Amendment right to a civil justice system. Until then, if you are in need of legal advice or services, contact local attorney Brad Parker at 817-503-9200 or on his website at parkerlawfirm.com.
KVCE.
Tune in Thursday evenings 5 to 6 as KVCE's Believers in Business presents the Family Law Hour with attorneys Frank Skipper and Donna Smith, discussing divorce, child support, custody, mediation, adoption, and all other areas of family law. Both Frank and Donna focus their practices exclusively on family law. That's the Family Law Hour, tomorrow at 5, right here on AM 1160 KVCE, and online at kvceradio.com. Brought to you by the David Wynn Law Firm and the law offices of Donna J. Smith.
Want to feel a part of the NBA D-League draft? Then come on out to Henry's Tavern in Plano Saturday afternoon, November 1st for the official Texas Legends annual draft party presented by Veracruz. Experience the War Room live with the Legends owner, Donnie Nelson, and head coach, Eduardo Nahara. All the Texas Legends draft party excitement begins at 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, November 1st from Henry's Tavern in the Shops of Legacy.
For more information, visit kvceradio.com/sports.
At Parker Law Firm, people matter.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker. When I first got out of law school, I went to work for a big downtown Fort Worth law firm. It was a prestigious job, but I never felt